You know that little thrill when you walk into Trader Joe's telling yourself, "I'll just grab a few things"? Then somehow your cart looks like you're preparing for a month of groceries, and your total shocks you. That isn't just coincidental. Behind the Hawaiian shirt charm and cute packaging lies a finely tuned system, working quietly to nudge you into buying more. Today, you're getting the Insider's Guide. I'm pulling back the curtain on 12 psychological tricks Trader Joe's doesn't want you to see. Let's begin. First, constant rotation and the scarcity engine. You walk in 1 week and spot a caramel popcorn snack. Return 2 weeks later, it's gone, replaced with cinnamon honey or sea salt chocolate. That disappearing act isn't random. It stirs up a get-it-while-it's-here urgency. That scarcity mindset is precisely what drives impulse buying. If I don't get this now, it'll vanish. Marketers often refer to this as hunger marketing, artificial scarcity to heighten desire. The result? You buy more than you need just to hedge your bets. Stop and think, this isn't just about snacks. Trader Joe's leans into seasonal drops, pumpkin cookies, peppermint bark, creating mini product events. Customers hoard them, fearing discontinuation, but that sense of novelty keeps you coming back. One study of Trader Joe's product strategy showed that their private label approach combines a sense of loyalty with novelty. Customers love discovering fresh items. That feeling of something new each time is built in. Next, the green halo. Ever glance at their rustic, craft paper packaging or thoughtful illustrations, or tote bags with hand-drawn designs? That aesthetic whispers natural, clean, responsible. The psychology here is powerful. Packaging that signals eco, organic, wholesome, whether justified or not, makes us more tolerant of higher prices. It creates trust and an emotional bond. Trader Joe's doesn't need flashy ad campaigns because their packaging does the talking. Now consider the checkout journey. Trader Joe's embraces longer wait times rather than racing you out. Why? Because as you stroll toward the register, you get exposed to impulse items, mini snacks, quirky spices, limited editions. The slower pace gives you space to browse, to pause, to toss in extra items. In contrast, many big box stores try to minimize exposure time so you don't stray or overspend. Here, the extra time is part of the lure. A common myth: Trader Joe's is always the cheapest. That's not always true. Some staples, milk, eggs, bread, can cost more than at discount grocers. The trick: they balance a few loss leader or attractor items at compelling prices, making you assume the store is uniformly inexpensive. Then they slot in mid-tier items at premium margins. And because so many products are private label, meaning you can't instantly compare to national brands, you lose your price anchor. When 80 to 85% of their offerings are store brand, comparison shopping becomes harder. Timing your trip matters. Products tend to drop mid-month or toward the latter half of the month. That's when Trader Joe's introduces new flavors or special seasonal editions. A newly opened location? The best discounts may not arrive day one. They sometimes appear weeks later once the initial buzz subsides. So if you're strategic, you can time your visits to catch the freshest drops or better value. Then there's the staff. Ever asked for olive oil and ended up walking away with vinegar, pasta, a side? The friendly crew doesn't just help, they subtly upsell. That connection, that rapport, softens us. Psychology shows people are more open to suggestions from someone they like. At Trader Joe's, staff are trained to engage, to recommend, to make you feel special. That warms you to the store and helps push incremental purchases. And flavor testing? That's their secret joy. You'll find bold mashups, purple sweet potato ice cream, mochi with Thai tea. They're banking on your curiosity. But they don't throw darts here. Trader Joe's rigorously taste tests and pilots products in limited markets. Only the ones with true buzz survive. So when you see them in your store, it's already past multiple internal screens. That manufactured confidence makes you more likely to try new items without resistance. One more before I wrap this part. The in-box display trick. You'll sometimes see products still in their shipping boxes out in the middle of aisles or corners. It feels casual, rustic, fresh out of the crate. But strategically placed like that, it suggests urgency, newness, a freshly stocked gem. You're more tempted to grab them. It's clever. Less shelving effort, but more impulse grabbing. You're just getting warmed up. In the next section, I'll dive into how their freezer design, website recipes, promotional cues, and more all conspire to fill your cart. Stick around. You won't want to miss the trick that's hiding in plain sight. If you're loving this behind-the-scenes peek, make sure you hit subscribe to Undercover Spoon so you catch the rest. I'll see you in the next section. Let's get into one of Trader Joe's most genius under-the-radar design choices, their freezer section. You've probably never thought about it, but once you see it, you can't unsee it. Unlike big chains that lock their frozen goods behind cold, glass doors, Trader Joe's goes wide open. Open bins, no glass, no barrier. That one design tweak changes everything. Think about it. At a traditional store, the freezer aisle is cold, sterile, transactional. You go in with a mission, grab the peas, the pizza, the ice cream, and leave. You don't linger. The cold air blasts your face. The doors fog up. It's uninviting. But at Trader Joe's, you slow down. No door to open. No awkward freezing air. You can lean over, touch the product, read the label, smell the packaging. And that means you're way more likely to pick something up, especially if it's something new or eye-catching. This isn't just good design, it's psychology. Removing friction, literal physical barriers, leads to more interaction. More interaction means more buying. That's why frozen Korean dumplings, mochi ice cream, cauliflower pizza, and tikka masala bowls fly off the shelves. It feels accessible, like a treasure chest of culinary surprises. You're not shopping. You're exploring. And Trader Joe's knows it. Now let's talk about exclusivity. The stuff you can't get anywhere else. One of Trader Joe's biggest moneymakers is their frozen food line. You won't find these items at Walmart. You won't see them on Amazon. These are uniquely Trader Joe's, and that matters. Take their cauliflower gnocchi or those BBQ chicken teriyaki bowls. They're made to mimic trendy restaurant meals, even viral TikTok recipes, but with a grocery twist. It gives you the thrill of takeout, the convenience of frozen, and the illusion of savings. But here's the twist. When you break down the price per serving, some of these frozen entrees aren't cheap. A single burrito bowl might be $4.99. Multiply that by 5 meals and you're spending $25 on frozen food. It adds up fast. Still, customers stock up. Why? Because it feels special. There's comfort in knowing you can't get it anywhere else. That's the trap. It's easy to buy 3 or 4 just to have on hand. Before you know it, your freezer's full, and your receipt's $30 longer than expected. And now, for one of the least known tricks, one that lives quietly on their website, the recipe drop. Trader Joe's posts recipes regularly. Looks innocent, right? But if you pay attention, there's a pattern. The recipes aren't just culinary inspiration. They're soft marketing vehicles. Let's say they post a recipe for loaded sweet potato nachos. You'll notice every ingredient is a Trader Joe's product. The black bean salsa, the pre-shredded cheese, the sweet potato chips. That recipe is a blueprint for what they want you to buy that week. They use these recipes to spotlight overstocked items, seasonal products, or new launches. It's like a silent shout from corporate. Push these. The timing is no coincidence. Recipes often appear just before those items get prime shelf real estate. It's a subtle manipulation that turns dinner plans into promotional strategy. So here's your move. Check the site before your next trip. If they're suddenly hyping up chimichurri marinated steak strips or coconut milk whipped topping, you'll know what's about to hit the shelves hard. And you can decide before you get swept up in the hype. Let's circle back to something visual you've seen 100 times. Trader Joe's packaging. It's fun, it's quirky, it's hand-drawn, and feels almost nostalgic. There's a reason for that. Design researchers call this familiar novelty. It's the balance between new and safe. Trader Joe's nails this with packaging that feels artisanal but is mass-produced. It's clean but casual. It feels like something made in small batches, even though it's stocked nationwide. That triggers emotional buying. You're not just purchasing crackers. You're buying into a vibe, a feeling. And that feeling tells you this: I'm doing something good for myself. Whether it's the earthy pasta box with sun-drenched illustrations or the herbal tea in rustic cardboard, everything whispers wellness, authenticity, simplicity. Even when the sugar content is high or the processing is industrial, the image is what sells. So yes, those labels, that layout, the happy music, and the handwritten chalkboard signs all work together to bypass your budget brain. Trader Joe's doesn't just stock groceries. They build an experience. But wait till you hear what they're doing with product placement. In Part 3, I'll break down how the location of items on shelves, the illusion of low stock, and the rhythm of their store layout makes you overspend, without ever realizing it. If you're into food psychology, smart spending, or just want to beat the grocery system, hit subscribe to Undercover Spoon, because what comes next might change the way you shop forever. Let's talk layout. Trader Joe's stores are small by design. You walk in, and almost immediately, you're in the action. Greeting the flower buckets, produce crates, and those tiny carts that feel charmingly inefficient. That's on purpose. Every inch is planned to guide your movement. Most supermarkets have sprawling, grid-like aisles. Trader Joe's opts for a winding, exploratory layout, less like a grocery store, more like a maze of edible surprises. There's a reason for that. Studies show shoppers spend 20 to 30% more when they meander rather than march down orderly rows. Wandering slows you down. It opens your eyes to more products. More exposure equals more chances to toss something in. Ever notice that staples like milk and eggs are tucked in the far back? That's no accident. You have to pass novelty snacks, dips, frozen entrees, and impulse buys to get there. Your quick trip for milk turns into a journey lined with temptation. And then there's the illusion of scarcity. One of Trader Joe's cleverest tricks? Shelves that aren't overstocked. They'll often stock fewer units of each product, just enough to look like it's the last few left. That emptiness creates urgency. The psychology is clear. If there's only a few left, people want it more. It looks popular. It must be good. Better grab two. This tactic shows up in the bakery section with just a handful of croissants left, or a snack display that looks picked over. Often, there's more stock in the back, but the visual of almost gone moves units faster. Customers start stockpiling out of FOMO. It's the same tactic you'll see in limited sneaker drops or flash sales, except here, it's granola bars and pita crackers. But let's not overlook one of the sneakiest systems of all. No sales signs, no bright yellow 50% off tags, no giant discount banners. That's because Trader Joe's claims to offer everyday low pricing. It feels noble, even anti-corporate, but it also does something deeper. It removes the mental math of, is this really a good deal? Without sales tags, you don't question value. You trust the vibe. That trust makes you less critical, less analytical, more impulsive. You don't pause to compare prices. You just toss things in the cart and move on. And don't forget the music. It's curated to keep your energy up. You'll rarely hear slow, sleepy music. Instead, it's upbeat, playful, even a little retro. This subtle soundtrack helps keep your brain stimulated. It encourages browsing, prolongs shopping time, and keeps the mood light even as the receipt total creeps up. Then there's sample culture. Now, not every Trader Joe's does samples all the time anymore. But when they do, it's magic. Those little cups of soup or sliced cheese aren't just free food. They're bait. People are 93% more likely to buy something they've tasted. It's biology. Tasting triggers a reward loop in your brain. Your body says, I like this. Your hand says, better grab a box. And boom, it's in the cart. Multiply that by thousands of shoppers a day, and those tiny samples generate millions in product sales. Now, if you've ever thought, I should just stick to a list, you're not alone. But Trader Joe's subtly disrupts that too. Notice how items move around? One week your favorite almonds are by the register, next week they're by the wine section. It's not chaos, it's calculated disruption. Moving products forces customers to scan more shelves. It breaks routines, makes you hunt. And during that hunt, guess what happens? You see new stuff. You discover a turmeric popcorn or a chocolate-covered fig that wasn't on your radar. That spontaneous discovery leads to extra spending. The longer you search, the more you see. The more you see, the more you buy. Even the carts play a role. Trader Joe's famously uses smaller carts and baskets. Again, this feels charming, eco-friendly, minimalist. But there's a twist. A smaller cart fills up faster, and once your cart looks full, you mentally adjust. I've already spent this much. What's another $5 item? That snowballs into $50. One more thing before we jump into the final section, the product labels. Those little handwritten chalkboard signs with goofy names and playful descriptions. They're not just cute, they're persuasive. Imported from Italy, crafted with love, made in small batches. Those are flavor cues. They trigger emotional reactions. Research shows customers assign higher value to items with vivid descriptions, even when the ingredients are identical to plainer options. So you've loaded up your cart. You've tasted the samples, wandered the maze, picked up that oddly irresistible ube mochi pancake mix, and now you're checking out. That's where the last and possibly most genius layer kicks in. Trader Joe's knows the shopping experience isn't just about what you buy, it's about how you feel when you leave. That's why the checkout zone is its own little ecosystem of mood management. You'll find upbeat music playing, maybe a reggae track, or a 70s funk deep cut. The cashier greets you by actually making eye contact. Maybe they ask what you're making for dinner. Maybe they compliment your choice of frozen kimbap. These aren't random niceties. They're engineered warmth. Trader Joe's trains employees not just to bag groceries, but to leave you with a feeling. Researchers call this peak end rule. Our brains tend to remember the emotional peak and the final moment of any experience. Trader Joe's designs its peak, surprise discoveries, and end, friendly checkout, to stick in your memory like a warm hug. Even if your receipt is $40 more than expected, you walk out thinking, that was fun. And that memory is what brings you back next week. Let's zoom out for a second. Look at the full picture. They rotate products to manufacture scarcity. They use hand-drawn, rustic packaging to sell an eco-emotional fantasy. They remove price comparisons by locking you into their exclusive brand. They lay out the store like a treasure hunt to keep you exploring. They understock displays to create artificial urgency. They remove glass doors and barriers to make frozen food more seductive. They guide your experience with music, signage, and curated staff interactions. They plant recipes online to steer your cart before you even arrive. And they end your trip with a serotonin-boosting farewell that seals the memory. All of it, every single detail, is crafted to make you spend more without realizing it. And it works. One former Trader Joe's manager explained how decisions were made at the store level. We'd get a nudge to spotlight certain items, especially new seasonal ones. You wouldn't get a corporate memo, just a friendly, hey, try building a display with this new fig spread. Next thing you know, it's selling out. That soft sell decentralized style gives the illusion of spontaneity, but it's anything but random. And here's the part that hits hardest. You don't regret it. Unlike other stores where overspending feels like a mistake, Trader Joe's makes it feel like an experience. You didn't blow your budget, you curated a lifestyle. You discovered something. You felt good about your choices. You supported an ethical brand, even if some of those impressions are more aesthetic than factual. It's not manipulation in the cartoon villain sense. It's more like emotional architecture. And once you see the blueprint, you can't unsee it. So what can you do with this knowledge? First, never shop hungry or aimless. That's when you're most vulnerable to the funhouse of flavor and packaging. Second, check the website for recipes, not just for meal ideas, but to decode what's being pushed that week. Third, track prices for staples elsewhere: eggs, milk, cereal. Don't assume they're cheaper at Trader Joe's. Sometimes they quietly aren't. And lastly, shop with intention. Appreciate the experience, enjoy the atmosphere, but remember, the moment it feels effortless is when you're being nudged the hardest. Because at Trader Joe's, it's not just what's on the shelf, it's what's in the air. There's a reason you walk in for almond milk and leave with black garlic hummus, Thai chili cashews, pumpkin ravioli, and a potted succulent. That reason? Masterfully hidden systems, perfectly tailored to your emotional patterns. Now you know. Now you see it. So next time you're standing in the freezer aisle, marveling at the mochi or hypnotized by the hand-drawn chalk signs, pause. Ask yourself, who decided this needed to be here, right now? And remember, you're not just shopping, you're walking through a carefully designed stage. Want more breakdowns like this? Subscribe to Undercover Spoon, because the next episode might just ruin your favorite restaurant's reputation. Or show you how your favorite healthy snack isn't so innocent after all. The truth is out there, and we're just getting started.